Right, so we're going to one of our sets. This one kindly sent in by Alan, our mystery benefactor. And this is box number 31. So we did box 37 yesterday. That was a customer repair. So we're going backwards now. We're doing one of mine, customer repair, one of mine, customer repair. So we've got some bits and pieces here from Alan, which I really appreciated. A couple of speakers there. .66mm and a bit of a smaller one there, so that's going to help. Now he sent some crocodile leads in because I'm always pinching Mr. Chippy's, and I've said this in previous videos that he had sent them in, but I wasn't going to play with them until we got to the box. And there we are. Thank you so much for that. Right. There are actually two sets in here. So this is a Fidelity 1000. This was once a Fidelity 1000, probably, and it's now a Chelsea FC. Obviously we'll be looking for a frontal one for that. He sent in a public address amplifier, which we'll have a play with. That'll be a Mr. Chippy bench one. We'll do that as a separate thing. Oh, this is the... right. And he's also sent one of these Giessen emergency sets in. And he's told me there's one or two things in the letter. It's come with the instructions. I think we've tested one of these before. It's going to give us another one to play with. They do have a bit of a battery pack. That's got its straps. And he subsequently sent in the aerial for this. So we've really got the whole thing for that. So thank you again for that one. That can go back in the box. And there's its rubber duck. So we've really got three things in here. And they'll all be dealt with as three separate items. We're going to be on box 31 for quite some time, but in between we're going to be doing the customer repairs. We've got a box of 6 customer repairs in, so it'll be one from that box, one from this box, one from that box, one from this box. That's how it works. So we're going to look at this Fidelity 1000. If that's what it is. The fact it's got a socket on the back. If it is a Fidelity 1000, it's the GT848. Whereas if it's the 2-knob other version, it's the GT858. If it's the 2-knob version, it's 868. If it's the 4-knob version, it's 848. If it's the Fidelity 1000. So that's the kind of dead giveaway. So we'll be looking for a Fidelity 1000 front. I know I haven't got one. I've got to admit that I've had people send me Fidelity 1000s in the past. I've ended up repairing them. So this is the problem. So what does he say? It seems to work. He tested it into a dummy load, but it could do with being tuned up, or could be used to repair another. The Giessens are hit and miss on receive. He was using it as a test receiver, he says, like I do. Needs a battery box sorting out. The PA amp tested on PA function, which works. Didn't sound right though when an MP3 player is plugged in. May not be looking for an MP3 player, that's the thing. So we'll go through that because and then finally he says, and a couple of speakers taken out of radios, which I've shown you, and some croc clips so you don't have to pinch Mr. Chippy's. Isn't that lovely? Wonderful. Right, so take the speaker off. I've started this video at 7 o'clock in the evening. We do our scratchy corner test at 7:30, so the chances of this actually being anywhere near today are hugely slim. But you know, the two-way radio part of this business is very secondary to what I do as a church organist and a church organ builder. So we to be honest, we only guarantee really to do 1.5 sets per week. Right, I've taken that off because I need to see what the board says. And we may as well keep it off. So let me have a look. Well, it says 868 on this one. I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, looks like it was a Fidelity 1000 once. Came from PE12OLL. So that's Peterborough number. So so although that's okay, we will put it through the grommet better. Right, so we'll get this connected. I was kind of saying tested and connected there in Alright, let's get the test set connected into it. And the extension speaker into our test equipment. And what we want is a piece of paper and a microphone wired for great. You know, it's the top mic, isn't that fantastic? You may all hate these radios, but they're so reliable. Now, I may not have a printed off sheet, so I think we're going to have to do that. Pause the video. Right, we're back with the clipboard. 13.8 volts on. There we go. It's set. It's come on. It's on 19. Put picture in picture on, and we'll start with transmit. So they're a 3.5 watt radio. So I think the service manual says 1.9 is the minimum acceptable. Well, you know what? It's bang on the 3. So it's better than most new sets. And on on channel 40, it's 3.1. And on channel 1, it's 3. I could say 3.01 or something like that, but that's where we are. Low power. It's not adjustable on these sets. I'll go back to channel 20. It's supposed to be 400 milliwatts. It is 100 milliwatts. Back to high power. Current consumption is 871 milliamps. Deviation. Now we were messing with CPT, so I'm going to have to reset this. Wow, it's not far out. Wow, it's 3.2. It's a bit high. We don't do the VCO because if it locks on all the channels, and the frequency only recently switched on the test set 10 minutes ago, so we'll take this with a pinch of salt. Oh, well, that didn't work, did it? not stupidly out. Okay, so it's a fair test. Let's go through the receiver. Switch to the cyanide meter. And that's to go up a scale. It's not ideal. It should be capable of better than this. It's 1.1. 10 dB. Naught 0.8. 20 dB if it'll do it. It is 2.7. Squelch. Never opens. And at the other end, switching the signal generator to standby, putting the squelch on the radio to threshold, switching the signal generator back on, coming at 0.45 microvolts. So the RF meter on transmit, go back to transmit, is reading 3.8. And the on receive 100 microvolts, put that on. It's 30. Now, it's on the plus of plus 30. You could say that that's the S9 mark because 9 isn't one that's listed, so it's a bit arbitrary that. Mutual lamp's working, switches are working, potentiometers are working, the one and only socket's working. That doesn't have one of those. There we go. X Allen box 31. That screenplate's being made. I think he said so in his letter. The screen cover was missing. Yep, he made that. Well done. I'll have to go inside there though. Right, we're about 15 minutes to do this, or it'll be tomorrow when it gets tested. So let's go back. Start here. So we've already gained a bit there, so I'm already onto the next scale. A bit more there. That was spot on. That was already spot on. A little tiny bit there. We've got 3.5. What's wrong with that? We've got a broken core. Change his glasses. We have got a broken core. I think that's broken at its peak. So that's where we are, 3.5 watts. That is the 54 meg second harmonic trap, so you don't touch that one. It's set with the spectrum analyzer, and looking at the dust around it, it's never been touched, so I don't need to put the spectrum analyzer on for that. We'd soon find out, because if we got to scratchy corner, if that was out, then Mr. Chippy won't be able to hear me. I think we can change that coil. Now, how many legs has it got? 4? Or 3? Hard to tell. I'm going to go, I'll pause the video and I'll just go and get a scrap chassis, which we definitely have got. Right, I've changed that, and I've got all my wires wrapped round. I must have wrapped it round myself about 10 times. So now we're at just under 3.5 watts with the coil as recovered out of a scrap set. So, yes, it was absolutely spot on in its broken position. But I've done the right thing. Spot on 3.5 watts. So, it's supposed to set the meter to read 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or is it supposed to be the centre of the red zone? You know, whatever it's showing is right. It's a bit arbitrary on this, isn't it? Deviation. Wallow. Wallow. It's reading more now. Why is that? I must have been on the wrong scale. Wallow. Spot on now anyway. current is now 929. Low power is now 160 milliwatts. I go back to full power, channel 40 is 3.45 watts. Channel 1 is 3.5 watts. So that's nice. See if the frequency's changed. It's come up a little bit. So we'll take that screen off, but we'll do that right at the end. So go through the receiver. So if I put S9 on, we start with the detector, go to the oscilloscope for that. Absolutely miles out. Right, we'll do the front end now with the cyanide meter. This is one of the reasons these sets are always rubbish. They're difficult to set up. They don't use a clever FM chip. Slight improvement. That's about right. That's about right. That's right. That's right. Now this is the difficult one. And I've shown the proper technique in the book. Well, I say proper technique. We're using the cyanide meter, which they just didn't have available to them, it seems. It's about there. Just to finally check the detector. I don't need to show you that. Just to make sure. Let's see what the cyanide reading is now. So for 12 dB, we've got 0.76. For 10 dB, we've got 0.6. And if it'll do 20, it is 2.567. That's not changed. You could improve that by changing some capacitors for better quality ones. Now then, S9, let's have a look at the meter. That's now reading a bit fast, so we'll deal with that. I think the meter one's that one. Well, that's as low as I can take it, so it's reading a bit. See where it is. It's 60. It's 2034. It's 30. Just you can't alter it from that. Squelch. So we'll turn the squelch to full. back this off, put it forwards a bit, that's exactly right. So 100 microvolts there. Let's see where the sensitivity is now. Set squelch threshold. That's a bit too. It's a bit too sloppy, that. Just 0.15 of a microvolt it's coming in at. Ridiculously sensitive. So it just leaves the frequency to do. I think he did really well making that. There we go, 79126. I'm just going to push that down. I'm sure it's got a good electrical contact. It is supposed to be soldered, but I don't expect we can solder to that. Anyway, so we're done. It just needs putting together. While we have the signal generator on still, let's just have a listen to how far this can hear down to. So it's alright saying it does so many microvolts into the synod meter. So I was looking for a front for this. Anyone, any takers? We'll buy a front off anybody. So that is 0.3 of a microvolt there. Let's put the other tone on. .15 I can hear it down to, so it's jolly good. So if it was for a customer, we'd have done that, but that's adequate for us. Probably going to get a zillion views on this video if YouTube picked the thumbnail which has the front of this set. I've never seen one of those before. It said Chelsea This sounds like Alan supports Sheffield. No, that's Sheffield Wednesday. Chelsea, whatever they're called. Chelsea Thursday. I know nothing about football, I tell you. In the 70s, it was just full of hooliganism, and you just wanted to be as far away from football as possible. So when I was growing up in the 70s, I just wanted to be as far away from football as possible. Anyway, I'd have them all on minimum wage with the bonus for winning. Then we'd see who wanted to play football and who didn't. Another reason not to have a television set is the sport on it. Right, let's put that on the aerial and we'll see how our Chelsea special works.
When you had the other day, I thought that really sounds good. Really sounds good. That's it, it's then on there. But the work is a bloody bomb.
One Nana Roger. You're not going to get any. You're not going to get anybody, are you? Oh, I wonder if we can hear this over the tunnel. Right, we'll put it on Mega Chippy channel and we'll go straight out for an on the air test. So, thanks for that, Alan, and hopefully a front will appear.